This episode is sponsored by Ascend Media, award-winning video and social media strategies that attract the best prospects and partners into your business. Learn how Ascend can create a media strategy for you at ascend.net.
Training is not just a simple training, it's for our life. I'm always asking people, what are you coming for? Okay, they say, I want to know something. I say, you are coming for pain. But this pain, it means a lot.
Welcome to the Preeminence Podcast.
You cannot be a courageous leader if you're not vulnerable.
Your legacy is every life you've touched.
The only thing that changes our life long term is when we raise our standards.
Now is the time to take risk.
The way it's always been done isn't necessarily the way it should be done.
What is your dream? What do you think 2050, 2100 is going to look like?
The most incredible sort of mystery, I think, is now the question of what comes next.
Stay hungry, stay foolish.
Welcome to the Preeminence Podcast. I'm your host, Matthew J. Peters. Visit preeminence.tv to learn more about how to create a preeminent presence for your business, organization, or personal brand. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud, or just ask Alexa to play the Preeminence Podcast. In June of this year, I was invited to join the Shaolin Kung Fu School on their 2-week trip to visit the Shaolin Temple in Henan province of China. This temple is considered the birthplace of Shaolin Kung Fu 1,500 years ago. Since I hadn't studied Kung Fu before, I trained under a Tai Chi instructor along with other adults on our trip, while my 12-year-old son and other students from the school in the U.S. learned Kung Fu at the Yuntai Mountain International Cultural and Martial Arts School. Instructing them was Kung Fu master Yale Yuan, who goes by the name Master Yuan. While in China, I was astounded how children as young as 5 begin their Kung Fu discipline of between 5 to 8 hours of Kung Fu 6 days a week, while adults studying Kung Fu 8 hours a day, 6 days a week. Now, when I say Kung Fu, most people in the West think of Bruce Lee and his martial arts. However, after visiting Kung Fu schools and learning under various instructors, I came to understand that Kung Fu is a way of life. It encompasses the martial arts, but also philosophy, tea ceremony, calligraphy, music, language, and other cultural elements. As I awoke in the early morning, we could hear instructors of schools in the distance instructing over public address speakers and students shouting their response. Some schools in China, like the school at the Shaolin Temple, require students to be out on the field at 5:30 a.m. and the final training of the day finishing at around 10:30 p.m. Rain or shine, 100-degree heat or 20-degree chill, it doesn't matter. You have to be on the line at attention for your shifu, your instructor, or be reprimanded. I know of no discipline like this in the United States. Perhaps maybe in some elite military academies, but not for children. These schools are Olympic level focused on learning their art, the art of Kung Fu. China is still a communist country, closed off to the West in many ways. Fortunately, with the popularity of virtual private networks or VPNs, I was able to connect with Master Yuan over Skype, a service normally blocked by what many call the Great Firewall, China's government restriction of outside information and communication through not allowing the use of sites like Facebook, Instagram, Google, and others. So here's my conversation with Master Yuan. You'll notice in the background occasional sounds of almost 700 students shouting as they train. Towards the end, you may hear his young daughter chime in too. Interviewing someone in China was a little more difficult than I first thought. I'm so grateful to get this time with Master Yuan. Now let me tell you a little bit more about him. Master Yale Yuan is Shifu at Yuntai Mountain International Cultural and Martial Arts School. For more than 20 years, he has trained full-time with 15 years of training both Chinese and foreign students. He is well known for his skill in different Kung Fu fist and weapons forms, especially the Kung Fu fighting with the pudao and the spear. He has participated in numerous competitions and has also traveled throughout Europe to both perform and teach. Now, Master Yuan won't tell you this himself, but as a child on the Shaolin Kung Fu performance team for the school at the Shaolin Temple, he studied with over 3,000 other students. Out of those 3,000 students, the best 30 were asked to join the performance team. Master Yuan is truly one of the elite Kung Fu masters who are passing on the traditions and culture of Shaolin Kung Fu in its purest form to the next generation. Master Yuan, thank you so much for joining us today. What is Kung Fu to you?
Kung Fu is like, it's just like a martial arts, and people like it and people want to do it. But this is also like, it's also hardworking. And during the time I was training, the training is, people just want to do training, just want to do Kung Fu. Because that time just feel, okay, I want to be strong. And then, it's similar like in the movie. Everybody want to be like a Superman or something like that. But actually, Kung Fu is, like we said, is hardworking, and slowly is more like a life lessons. It's not just martial arts. It's more like it's more like it's about the culture, Shaolin culture, and the Shaolin spirit, and a lot of Chinese traditional culture included.
And so the type of Kung Fu that you practiced was Shaolin Kung Fu. Could you tell us about kind of where that came from?
The Shaolin Kung Fu is the Kung Fu. What I'm doing is the Shaolin Kung Fu. It comes from the Shaolin Temple, which is located in Dongfeng City. So this is the traditional style, one of the traditional style. But in China, that we also have, we call it Wushu, so which means this is the modern style. But normally when we say that, is also including the traditional Shaolin Kung Fu as well.
So one of the things I learned from attending your school for just a few days, I noticed that there was a lot of structure, a lot of discipline. And one of the things I find in the West here, especially in the United States where I'm at right now, is people kind of are very easygoing, or they are not always so serious about their studies of the martial arts. Here, it's very common for people to study martial arts 1, 2, or 3 hours a week. And I found when I came to the school that it was very different. Could you tell us a little bit about the structure and discipline you have at the school?
In our school, we do training for international students. We do training 7 or 8 hours per day, and we have a different classes. Every lesson is doing different things. And for the Chinese kids, they are doing half day is about 3 hours or 4 hours. So yeah, this is depending on the schedule. So every day is at least 3 hours training. And in our training, the discipline is the first thing. When there's no discipline, and then our training the training quality can't be better. And also the discipline makes people to be even and also to be respectful to each other. Just like I said, the discipline makes people to be even, and everybody comes from different countries, with a different life experience and background. In our school, the first thing is to start from the language. So when we are outside, and everyone, must speak English or Chinese. So because we are in this environment and also speaks English I think is the first thing we can respect everyone. And then we will line up downstairs before our training. This is also, so everybody come have a different just like different life experience. Some students, some works, employers, or maybe from the different company, the boss of the companies, or from the school, the teacher, or engineer, or everyone has a different positions in their life. But in our training, so everyone is the same. Everyone is when come to our school. And, everyone is a student, which is we make people to come down and to changing your positions. And even for me and for us, we are also learning. When we are line up, we are doing the same thing. I'm learning, I'm teaching everyone every day, but at the same time, also I'm learning from everyone. So this is the discipline. We have a discipline for the Western students, but also have, also for the Chinese students. Of course, in our school, there's the special rules for our, for the shifus, for the teachers. So I think this is the most important. If we have no rules or no discipline, and then we can't do a proper training, and people come from a far away to here, this is not what we want to do. And this part is not about the money. It's more about the culture exchange and the people to learn something, then also share with everyone. I think this is the good thing from the discipline.
That was so important to me to see that everybody in the West, we say everybody's on the same page. Everybody's on the same level. Everybody has the same expectations of them. One of the things that I saw was kind of highlighted was the phrase, and sometimes we have this in, especially in weightlifting, people doing bodybuilding, it was no pain, no gain. Can you tell us what no pain, no gain means?
If you don't work and you have nothing. But after from our training, as long as I training, and then I realized that it's not only, you don't work and you get nothing. Because for us, for the training, the flexibility is the most important thing. And people are afraid to do the stretching part, which is painful, but it's good. So no pain, no gain. If you just simply from our training, if you don't stretch, you don't become flexible, and then it will be hard for you to improve your personal skills or your everything in your martial arts life. I can say this, when you're not flexible, your martial arts life or your sports life will be hard, and the injury is always comes with you. It's just about early or late. So from this no pain, no gain, and also people, you have to, this is just in training, and in our life, you have to work hard. Then you can build your dream, and also you can make your dream become true. And if you're a student, you study hard, and then later you will receive a good result from your study. So this is a no pain, no gain, and also tells people that to go for what you want, but before you get it, complain is for nothing. Only when you work on this, you work hard on this, then you will have everything you wanted. So this is a no pain, no gain. Actually, in our training, I think, make people slowly will understand more and more, and they will understand that it's not only for training, but no pain, no gain, I think is the perfect word for us, which is we are people who are training.
I can really appreciate that, because I think one of the things you're saying is you're going to have the pain either at the beginning or at the end. So if people aren't having the pain or the physical stretching, and I saw it many times, other students or the shifus would assist people in their stretch, because if they didn't get that right, doing some of the moves, some of the techniques of Kung Fu, that they would hurt themselves later. And so
yes,
doing let's say the pain of the stretch and stretching yourself every day a little bit more was much more beneficial to the body, to the health, to the recovery, to the for the ability for them to practice the Kung Fu properly and safely.
So this pen, for people is here we are telling them, is for training, but then after related to our life or our study. So the stretching, everything we are doing is the training is not just simply a training. Is also we also can say it's a life license, from the Kung Fu training, because it's the beginning. Everything you must do it right, or you do it hard. Just like you said, if the beginning you don't do it right, and you have the pen later.
I agree, and I think what you're saying is the cost of, or the pain of the cost at the beginning is far less than the pain, the cost of the
in the future.
In the future, exactly. So, kind of one of the things I want to highlight here is when I hear of someone they're practicing something for 6, 7, or 8 hours a day, 6 days a week. That's really like practicing at an Olympic level, like going into the Olympics. And this was something I saw children, I saw teens, people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and even 60s coming out and doing either Tai Chi or Kung Fu, like 6 hours a day, 6 days a week. Is that about right?
7 or 8 hours a day. In China, it is, when the beginning, if you're doing this, it's like I just want to become professional.
So this is for people who want to dive in and get training from someone who's been studying as like their life path. It's their, I guess, career, you could say. Learning for 7 or 8 hours a day, 6 days a week, you're going to advance far more than someone who takes Kung Fu or Tai Chi, 1, 2, or 3 hours a week. And one of the things I saw on your website is that you're getting about a year of typical training in a month.
Yes. People come here, we do training a lot, like 7 or 8 hours a day and 6 days a week. And we want the people to focus on one thing, because people can choose to do Tai Chi, Sanda, and some, and the different things, and of course Kung Fu. So before, people can do everything like every week or something, but then it's too much for everyone to remember or to work on the things we do, and actually for people that they cannot really get the things they learned. And then after we changing our schedule, just to focus on one thing. And I think this is also for the concentration of all of us, even for the for the shifus and for the students. Yeah, it's like this. They have to, once they are here, they have to focus on what they are doing. Of course, we have someone that if they are first time and they want to, they have 2 months or 3 months, so then they can decide, okay, we will suggest to them that to do like a 1 month Kung Fu, 1 month Tai Chi, and 1 month Sanda, so that they can. And also, some people, for them, it's really hard to choose what to do, but they really want to do martial arts. So that we will tell them, to build a schedule for them, just to let them into to get to know more about the Chinese, different Chinese martial arts, and later they will find the thing they like and they want to do.
Can you tell us what's going on in the background?
Right now, it's like in the afternoon. The afternoon training is over. It's time for the students to go in to have a dinner. And then after dinner, we have the next section. And so in school, our school, that every day, every lesson we start, and there's the bell, and also maybe the ringing of music. So when you hear this, and if everyone knows, okay, it's a time to start the class or to start the training, and then after, when another bell starts, then it's like this class is over. So in between the classes, we have a different music, and for different classes. So people when hear this, okay, they know, okay, it's time to work on to do something.
I would love for people to know more about you and how you chose your path, and you can go back as early as you like, but I really like to hear your story and why you chose the path you did.
For me, the beginning, I like to do Kung Fu is because of the movie, the first movie of Jet Li. So it's like that time, everyone have a dream. Okay, I want to training in the temple. So especially for me, and my parents, that everyone also want me to training and to be strong. And that's why that I choose, okay, I'm going to Shaolin and I'm going to training. When I start, I realized, okay, the training is not like in the movie. So we need to work hard. And then we can be better. And everything you want to do, you need a time. You need a patience, to work on that. And that will take a lot of time. So that time, the training is not only in the day, is in the evening. In the evening, we also training. And sometimes there's nobody and everybody is working on your own. So that always repeat what you learned during the day, and then in the evening that you repeat over again and again to improve, to be sure that the next day you can remember and you can continue the lessons. And after I realized, okay, only training is not enough. So I changed into a school, which is just next to the temple, so that I can study, the Chinese, English, and the mathematics, the normal classes, and then I also can training. So since that, I think, okay, I need to work hard. I can do this. Then I can do for a long time. Yeah, from the training, I understand more. Is after I joined the performance team. So which is the everything we learned is unlimited to know more and to understand more about the Kung Fu. Because before that I joined the performance team, that we do the regular training and the competition. Everything is right. Everything you must do it right. But in the performance team, that we can do a lot of different things, and you improve a lot. It's just a different level. So since then, I start to like Kung Fu more and more. And the real thing, the only thing changing me is from 2005, when I had some lessons with the foreigners, because they want to train in Kung Fu, but they don't have that much time. It's just a few hours, 2 or 3 hours, and then okay, I feel like, okay, I can do something more about this. So only teaching them is not enough. So everything they learned, is just simply a form, but that's not a real Kung Fu. That's not a real training. So since then, I had my dream. I want to work on this to make people to know more about the training, and it's not just to learn several forms and to know the stance. So this is more about the culture, the Shaolin culture and the Chinese culture. So then people will understand it better. From the other side, that they also can improve their life quality, or maybe people can find their how to say that, they also can find their goal in their life, because after, a lot of people, they don't know what to do. They have no idea what is good for them, what they can do in their life. Then that makes me to continue this until now.
So on the school website, I see that you're one of the masters at the school. And I think a lot of times people think of pursuing mastery. This is a great example for everyone listening. Someone who is practicing Kung Fu for about 20 years, and not only being a student, but also teaching. And we're seeing your school teaching people 7-8 hours a day, 6 days a week. This is pursuing mastery. I think a lot of times people think, well, I'm going to take a class on something online on the internet, or I'm going to, take a class 3 days a week for an hour, and that's how I'm going to become a master at something. It's the 20 years of dedication to the one thing that you had said earlier. Is that one thing. I think that a lot of people dilute their ability to become masterful at something because they're doing many things. Would you agree with that?
I'm not agree. If you're just doing several hours a week, and after maybe, let's say 1 or 2 years, 3 years, then after you want to teach, okay, from there are two things, one side, because they want to work this, it's they want to training, teaching. I think this is good, but the other side is how much do you know about this? Sometimes you make people, you just when you have a wrong, you might take people to the wrong way, and I think this is very dangerous, and also makes people to misunderstand what training is and what Kung Fu is. And the training, I think, is not only a martial arts, and we have no holidays at all every year. So in the past 15 years, I didn't have any holidays, because even Chinese New Year, and we are still continue our training. Just during the New Year day, that okay, we have 1 day, okay, relax, so people can go into the city and go to see how the Chinese New Year is. But right after that, and our training will be continued. Absolutely,
and I found that the pursuit of mastery and what I call preeminence is people who are dedicating their life to something. And I see that's something that you're doing, and you're allowing people to focus on the one thing through the environment you're creating in the school, the discipline and the focus on the one thing. It's missing in the West. It's missing in this day and age because of the million distractions. Well, thank you so much for being on the Preeminence podcast today. I think you are the example of pursuing preeminence, your dedication over your life to this, 6, 7, 8 hours a day of training, plus your desire to do even more when you were in the Shaolin Temple school to become part of the performance team. And I had the honor to see the Shaolin students perform, and it was incredible. The feats that they were able to do for us was just amazing, and I really appreciate you taking the time to be with us today. So thank you so much.
Whenever you travel back to China, and remember, there's always a place for you.
Thank you for listening to the Preeminence Podcast. Subscribe to hear powerful interviews and insights each week automatically downloaded the moment they go live. Share this episode with your team, your friends, and post it on social media. Let us know your comments and suggestions for the show at m@astounded.net. That's the letter M @asynd.net.